بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Tonight's class, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, we're moving on to line 23, and by the permission of Allah, line 24, and hopefully line 25. The author, may Allah have mercy upon him, he says in the 23rd line, وَالْفَرْدُ مَا قَيَّدْتَهُ بِثِقَةِ أو جمع أو قصر على روايتي وما بعلة غموض أو خفا معلل عندهم قد عرفا وذو اختلاف سند أو متن مضطرب عند أهيل الفن. Line 23, once more, the author says, وَالْفَرْدُ مَا قَيَّدْتَهُ بِثِقَةِ أو جمع أو قصر على روايتي وما بعلة غموض أو خفا معلل عندهم قد عرفا وذو اختلاف سند أو متن مضطرب عند أهيل الفن. So line 23 discusses that which is called Al-Hadith Al-Fard. Al-Hadith Al-Fard. And Al-Hadith Al-Fard, according to some, and it's very important as beginners, that we busy not ourselves with differences. This isn't the job of the beginner. The beginner is to take simple, basic, one thing, grasp it, and then move forward. One of the ways of having incorrect studies, anything, not just Islam, is dealing with 3 or 4 different opinions the first time you're being exposed to a subject. Beginner takes the spoonful of honey, that's it. Is it poison in the honey, cyanide in the honey, bees' legs or wings in the honey? Is it really molasses mixed with the honey? The beginner says, Bismillah, he gulps the honey. The more you grow, the stronger your eyes, your ears, your taste buds, different story. So therefore, to keep things simple, Al-Hadith Al-Fard, according to some, is synonymous with Al-Hadith Al-Gharib. Obviously, the author doesn't believe that. Rather, he sees that there is a difference between Gharib and between Fard. That's first and foremost. As we've explained before, التفرد يعني بذاته بنفسه ليس علة قادحة تخل بصحة الحديث، ولكن غالبا ما يكون التفرد قرينة لوهم وخطأ، خاصة الشيخ الذي له أصحاب ملازمون تلاميذ كثر. أنت الشخص الوحيد الذي حدثت به عن هذا الشيخ وله 100 تلميذ في المجلس، وأنت الشخص الوحيد الذي ذكرته، خاصة وأنت لست بأقوى تلاميذه. هذا يوهم يعني شيء في القلب، لكن لا يلزم من التفرد أن يكون خطأ وضعف، واضح؟ لكن يكون محل انتباه، تنتبه للشيء. إذا كان عندك صديق ويحدثك يعني حكايات وقصص لا تسمعها من غيري أحد، هذا الشخص الوحيد الذي يقول هذا الكلام، أنا سافرت، أنا رأيت، لا يلزم أنك تكذبه، ولكن تكون إيش؟ تنتبه يعني، والله ما سمعت هذا من أحد، والله أنا نزلت في نيوجيرسي، نزلت في بيان وصار وكيف ما أحد قال هذا الكلام. تكون أنت منه إيش؟ على انتباه فقط. وإذا أكثر من هذه الغرائب والحكايات صار في قلبك إيش؟ شك أقوى، لكن لا يلزم أن يكون خطأ وكذب. Alright, we explained that the Gharib Hadith does not have to be weak. If there's only one person, doesn't have to mean that it is weak. But the chances of a sheikh having countless students, many students, and only one person reports it, something is a little off. Something that causes you to think and pay more attention. So therefore, the Gharib, we explained that. That's done. Fard, ma qayyatahu bi thiqati. This is the only person who reported this hadith, and he's trustworthy. أو جمع أو قصر على روايتي, or the people of Mecca are the only people who narrated this hadith from this companion. The people of Ta'if are the only ones who narrated this hadith from Abdullah ibn Abbas. تفرد به أهل الطائف, تفرد به أهل مكة, تفرد به أهل الكوفة, تفرد به الشاميون. That's what he means by that. All right, and we don't want to spend too much time on that right now. All right, let's move forward to the next line. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And before we go into the next line, some English. I want to read an article that we explained and we gave you before. I want to give it to you again, inshallah ta'ala. Very beneficial article in English from Wikipedia, which is called Hadith Terminology. Hadith Terminology, all right? Okay. So here we see some definitions. Let's try to make this larger if possible. Better, inshallah. Okay, Hadith Terminology. What is it? Classification of Hadith, distribution of Hadith, pertaining to the narrator's origin. Qudsi, the Prophet ﷺ is quoting Allah Ta'ala. Mawquf is when who, what? Anas bin Malik said. Abdullah ibn Abbas did. Abu Sayyid al-Khudri. Marfu', Abu Sayyid al-Khudri says, the Prophet said, the Prophet did. The Prophet looked like this, walked like this, ate like this, slept like that. All right? Maqtu', Ata ibn Abi Rabah said. Sa'id ibn Jubair said. واضح? Not a Sahabi, but a Tabi'i. Qawli, the Rasul said these are based off of intentions. Statement. Fi'li, the Prophet prayed until his feet became swollen. Taqriri, the Prophet allowed the companions to eat lizard meat. He didn't eat it, but he what? He allowed it. Wasfi, the Prophet's favorite garment to wear was qamis. Prophet wasn't too tall, wasn't too short. How the Prophet looked. The Prophet was extremely shy. He was extremely brave. Kana ajwadun nas. The Prophet was the most generous. Well, kana ajwad, he was even more generous in Ramadan when Jibril. All right, move forward. As-sarih, directly quoting, saying the Prophet, al-hukmi. The companion says, we used to be commanded. We were ordered. Kunna nu'maru. Kunna naqulu. We used to say the best of this nation after its prophet is. Everyone understand this? It's not sarih, right? That the prophet directly acknowledged him or directly, etc., etc., etc. All right. In terms of number of narrators in the isnad, mutawatir, ahad. We're not going to get too busy with these two terms, especially the first term, because al-mutawatir is a very problematic term. And in general, I quote, is a foreign term to science of hadith. It's alien. It's mutawatir, the word in the term, and the specific definition is from the fuqaha and the people of usul. It's not from the people of hadith. Ahmed, Bukhari, they never used it. They never had that. And it's a reason why the whole mutawatir is even a thing. Can't explain that right now. But no one is going to deny or reject the fact that a hadith can be reported by a great number of people. 20 companions all said the same thing. And they had 50 students, etc., etc., etc. No problem with that. But saying that a certain amount of people have to come together in order for it to be absolutely true and impossible to be a lie. So 20 companions narrated, it's impossible for them to lie. So that means that the companion would lie? The ishkal kabir. It's a huge problem. Let alone a person making these different rules to accept and to reject what they want to. This hadith talks about Allah's attributes. Mutawatir, we accept. This hadith talks about Allah's attributes, which is ahad, we don't accept. So that's a problem in itself. We're not here to explain that. Mutawatir in meaning, mutawatir in wording, mashhur, majhul, I don't know why that's there. We're just, al-muhim. Aziz, we went on this. Gharib, we also what? Right? Mutawatir in meaning. Waheed. The Prophet raised his hands until what? He made dua and he raised his arms until what? You see the paleness of his body. His rida fell down. Many companions reported that even if they didn't say the exact same specific thing. All right? All right? Mutawatir in wording. The Prophet ﷺ said, he who relies upon me, فَلْيَتَبَوَّأْ مَقْعَدَهُ مِنَ النَّارِ. Let him take his place in hell. In the specific wording. All reported the same thing. All right? مثلا Aziz, Marwi Ithnaini, all right, Gharib, Mutlaq, Nisbi, that says Nasabi, that's a mistake. Nisbi, supposed to be I, S representing the Sukoon. We explained that. In terms of authenticity and weakness, Maqbool, acceptable, Mardud, either of the two. There's no in between. First, highest level, grade A, prime, steak, right? Sahih. Sahih li zatihi, supposed to be. Li ghayrihi. Hasan. Hasan li zatihi, Hasan li ghayrihi. Mardud, at-ta'arud, ad-da'if, etc., etc. All right. It's a very beneficial chart, even if everything isn't absolutely worded correctly, but it's going to help you out. Tadlis, huh? Mahad, right? We went over Tadlis, and it's what? It's types. And the real life example of Tadlis, all right? Explained all of that. Majhul, Mubham, right? We explained who or what a Mubham is. Naam, okay? Mudraj, we didn't get there yet. Muttarib, hopefully we're going to talk about this tonight, etc., etc., etc. Terminology pertaining to the narration's origin, marfu', mawquf, maqtu'. Terminology relating to the number of narrators, mutawatir, right? Types of mutawatir. So much in English, you'd be shocked what's available in English. And of course, with a teacher, with a class, your own independent studies on the side is only going to make you better. You study with the teacher or teachers, and you also do your own efforts on the side. Daddy, you're my physical fitness trainer. You're making me sweat. Sheikh, forgive me what I'm about to do to you. But you come to me, say, I want to be buff, so I got to make you feel the pain, right? But when I'm not with you, what do I have to do? Eat properly, sleep, rest, work out. I got to push myself. That has nothing to do with what? You understand this? Studying is not just with the teacher, but it's also what you read and study on your own by yourself. And if and when you have a problem, you go back to your teacher. Hey, is it okay for me to only eat grapefruits, for 7 days? Is that good for my metabolism? Blah, 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 blah. All right, Gharib, impact on Islamic law. This is a part of the fruits of the hadith, but it's not hadith terminology. All right? All right, Sahih. Each narrator in the chain of narration must be Adala. Yarwihi adrun dabitun an mithlihi. Mu'tamadun fi dabtihi wa naqlihi. Each narrator preserve the narration. The isnad must be muttasil. The chain, the hadith, including this isnad, is free from wahakadha. We explained all of that. According to Sunni Islam, i.e., there are others outside of Sunni Islam that have different perspectives and different points of view. Hasan, what separates Hasan from Sahih? Explained that. Musnad, explained that. Musnad format, muttasil, daif, mu'allaq, mursal, mu'adal, munqati'. We went over what? All of that, right? Now, other types of weakness. Munkar. That's going to come later. Shadh, we did what? Sharahna hada. Shadh. That's done. Tonight, inshallah, we're going to focus on muttarib. Muttarib, all right? Muttarib. After we take the illah. Here is another beneficial article as well that I fished for you guys out of the river with regards to muttarib. Mutarib hadith in English, not Arabic. As far as Arabic sources, then they're plentiful. Kathira, huh? All right, right. So let's go back to Bayquniyyah. He says, وَمَا بِعِلَّةٍ غُمُوضٍ أَوْ خَفَى مُعَلَّلٌ عِنَّهُمُ قَدْ عُرِفَ. All right? Nur Hilu, you'll be our reader. Abdurrahman, we're coming right after you, okay? Inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Ali, Nazir, they didn't mention that. mudallas, 19, 20 types of tadlis, shadh, all right? Maqloob, we did that. You missed that da'i last week. Man ghaba, khaba, wa akhadha nasibahu al-ashab. Man ghab, khab, khasir. الذي لا يحضر الدرس يخسر ويأخذ حظه من العلم زملائه. قديما قالوا من غاب خاب وأخذ نصيبه الأصحاب. All right, الفرد, that's tonight. قال رحمه الله, I'll start reading off. الفرد مأخوذ من التفرد وهو قسمان. فرد مطلق وهو ما تفرد به ثقة بأن لم يروي أحد من الثقات إلا هو. يعني الحديث الذي تفرد به ضعيف قد يسمى غريبا. right? مثال حديث عمر بن الخطاب أنه سأل أبا واقد الليثي ما كان يقرأ به رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في الأضحى والفطر، فقال كان يقرأ فيهما قاف والقرآن المجيد واقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. قال الحافظ العراقي وقد ورد هذا من رواية ضمرة بن سعيد المازني عن عبد الله إلى آخره. All right, let's move forward to إلا. فضل نور الهلو. المعلل بفتح اللام.
هو الحديث الذي اتضح أن في سنده أو متنه علة تقدح في صحته مع أن الظاهر الخلو منها.
هو الحديث الذي اتضح بعد البحث والتفتيش والتدقيق وجمع الطرق والنظر في الروايات والمقارنة بين الرواة والتلاميذ، من منهم أكثر ملازمة، من منهم بردي الشيخ مصري يختلف عن الشامي، برديه وأدرى بلسانه أدرى بشيخه، هذا لازمه 20 سنة وهذا لقيه في الحج. هو الحديث الذي اتضح بعد البحث والنظر والتعب الشديد أن في إما السند وقد تكون العلة في المتن. وطبعا إذا كانت علة في المتن فلا بد وأن يكون خطأ في السند، لأن المتن إنما أتى عن طريق لا يؤقل هذا إلا تخل تقدح تخل تؤذي تؤثر على صحته. لا يمكن أن يكون هذا الحديث صحيحا مع أن الظاهر أنه نظيف وجيد لكنه مزور بخشيش مو أصلي، لكن للعين المجردة للريان يظهر أنه أصلي، ولكن الخبير يفتش صيني خلاص. معلش يعني not against the Chinese. You get the point I'm trying to make or not. هذا الخبير. أما الشخص العادي جميل أصلي بهذا السر ظاهر أنه إيش؟ سليم، لكن الخبير الذي يفتش ويدقق فيه، عرفت؟ مدخول مغشوش، عرفت؟ هذا الحديث المعلل. فيكون الحديث المعلل يكون رواه من رواة ثقات، ظاهره إيش؟ الصحة، لكن في الداخل في شيء. So the hadith mu'allal is a hadith which is reported, this is just as a beginner right now, is a hadith that is reported by what type of narrator? Ibn Habib. Trustworthy and not a weak. Just like what last week?
Just like
Shad is reported by a what? Thiqa. But he went against someone or some people that were stronger. There's no way we can harmonize. Somebody made a mistake. So a hadith mu'allal is a hadith that seems to be sound. It looks good, but deep down inside, in its chain of narration, and or its met in its text, something is off. Somebody made a mistake, someone made an error. And only the expert and one willing to research and look deeper is going to discover that problem. Like counterfeit. Like what? There are levels of counterfeit. There are people who counterfeit dollar bills. It's very difficult to tell. Extremely difficult. Interview famous counterfeiters. They tell you how much money they made counterfeiting, making their own money in their rooms. Right? 9 out of 10 people I went to, they had no idea it was a fake bill. Experts were baffled. But eventually somebody's going to what? Wait a second. Hold on. All right? This isn't an authentic bill. All right? Okay. طيب. All right, let's skip that right there. ثم إني right there. اقرأ نور الطريق
الطريق إلى معرفة المعلم هو
جمع طرق الحديث. لا يمكنك الوقوف على العلة إلا بعد أن جمعت الروايات المختلفة ووازنت بينها وقارنت بينها وضربت بعضها ببعض ثم تبين لك أن هذا الراوي هو الواهم وأنه لم يسمع من فلان وأنه دلس وأنه سمع منه وهو بمكة وهو ضعيف في روايته عن أهل مكة. جمع الطرق. طيب. والنظر في اختلاف رواته كما قلت موازنة مقارنة بين ضبطهم وملازمتهم وبلدانهم وطريقة سماعهم من شيوخهم. علم دقيق ليس لأي أحد. أفراد من أهل العلم صاروا أتقنوا هذا العلم. أفراد أئمة أفراد لأنه يتطلب ذكاء ويتطلب سماع واسع ويتطلب يقظة. طيب أمثلة معلل السند حديث يعلى عن ابني يعني مرفوعا. ايش معنى مرفوعا؟ نسبه الى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اضافه الى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. فهذا saying مرفوع is a way of you summarizing the speech. عن فلان عن فلان عن فلان مرفوعا يعني قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. اختصار. alright. البيعان بالخيار. And as a benefit, aside from the hadith, is very important ruling. البيعان بالخيار. A receipt. We have a store policy. We accept returns on items still in the package with the receipt. If the package has been opened, you get store credit. The moment you leave the doors of the parking lot, we aren't responsible for any damage or glitch with the product. Al-Bay'ani bil-khiyar. You have the ability to say, I'll take it or I don't want it as long as we're in the majlis. We're discussing, you want to buy this from me? Let me check it out. Sure. No thank you. Nothing personal, but no thank you. But the moment you walk off with that ring and something go wrong, you got Al-Bay'ani bil-khiyari ma lam yatafarraqa. This is an extremely important ruling in Islam when it comes to buying and selling. As long as we're discussing and negotiating, I can say yes, I can say no. The deal was finalized, it's sealed, there are different rulings. And that's the return policy or store credit. Electronics, you have 2 weeks, etc., etc. Everybody clear on this? All right, so this hadith, فَقَدْ وَهِمَ يعني ابن أبيد وهو ثقة أخطأ على من؟ وهو ثقة في قوله لم يقول الثوري لم يقول عمرو بن دينار وإنما قال عبد الله بن دينار. هل عبد الله بن دينار ثقة ولا ضعيف؟ يختلف. المهم لم يحفظ حديثه كما سمعه. إنما قال شيخه عبد الله بن دينار. جاء يعلى فرواه عن شيخ سفيان فقال عمرو بن دينار. هذا وهم لكن لا يظهر إلا المتبحر لأنه نظر في طريق أخرى فوجد أن من هو أثبت من أو أكثر من قال عمرو بن دينار. Alright. طيب معلل المتن فضل عبد الرحمن. حديث نفي
قراءة البسملة في الصلاة المروي عن أنس وذلك في الرواية التي تفرد بها تفرد بها مسلم في صحيحه من طريق الوليد بن مسلم.
إذا قرأت هل تجهر ببسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولا تسر بها؟
تجهر.
هذا موضوع هذا الحديث. هل الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام جهر بها ولا أسر بها؟ هذا يعني ميراث. لسنا في موضوع الكلام عن المسائل الفقهية، لكن أنبهكم يعني أهمية معرفة علم الحديث وأثر الحديث على الفقه والإجماع والخلاف والاختلاف. هل أسر بها ولا جهر بها؟ فهمتم؟ فحديث الذي رواه من قال تفرد به مسلم في صحيحه من طريق الوليد بن مسلم. فالخطوة الأولى, the first step would be, what is the status of Walid ibn Muslim? Did the Prophet ﷺ say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim out loud, or did he say it silently? Walid ibn Muslim. He reported it, وَقَدْ عَالَ الْكَثِيرُونَ مِنَ الْأِمَّةِ كَالشَّافِعِيِّ, etc. And they said that the correct version of the hadith, I heard Anas ibn Malik, صَلَّيْتُ خَلْفَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ وَأَبِي بَكْرٍ وَعُمَرٍ وَعُثْمَانٍ فكانوا يستفتحون بالحمد لله رب العالمين فظن هذا الراوي نفي قراءة البسملة فروى الحديث على ما فهم فأخطأ فكان النتيجة ذلك أن قال عقب الحديث فلم يكونوا يستفتحون القراءة ببسم الله الرحمن الرحيم مع أن رواية الأكثرين التي اتفق عليها البخاري ومسلم ليس فيها هذا التصريح وهذه علة خفية أدركها العلماء الأعلام بثاقب النظر ودقة البحث. شيء صعب. دعنا من هذا. We're not talking about the fiqh. I'm just showing you how it's connected. That's all. That's the only thing we want. We're not here to discuss the fiqh ruling. Is it the sunnah to say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim out loud? Or should you say it silently? Or should you not say it at all? Or is it okay, Wahid, to say it occasionally? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Or is it the sunnah to say it each and every single time? What did the Prophet do? What did Abu Bakr do? What did Umar do? What did Uthman do? We're not here to discuss that. That's neither here nor there. I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of the taste of the benefit of working hard in hadith science. It leads you to mastering fiqh. And it leads you to understanding why there is khilaf. What's correct, what's incorrect. You get the ability to know why yourself. Clear or not? And that will prevent you from a lot of confusion because everybody is claiming to be the best and the most correct. This is the most correct madhab. This is the most correct school of thought. This university is the best university, etc. How do I navigate? Everybody's claiming to be the very best. The more you study, the easier it is for you to what? Navigate through all of the claims. That's the moral of the story, right? All right. Tayyib, khair inshallah. All right, so let's get our volunteers. Inshallah ta'ala. Nur Hilu, Mahad, Ibn Habib, Da'i, Ibn Victor. Okay, so everybody pay close attention, and we're going to stay with the same format. A little space against the wall. How many people between me and the hadith compiler? 4 of them. How many? 4. So, to start off, just as beginners, I quote, Hadith Mu'allal, Illa, Da'i Allah, to Ibn Victor are all supposed to be what? Trustworthy. Thiqat. No du'afa, nothing like that. Mahad, you sit down. Ibn Habib narrating from Ibn Victor was clearly documented they never met. They lived in a total different country. He's too old, he's too young. A gaping hole in the chain of narration wouldn't be a what? Wouldn't be illa. لأن سبب الضعف واضح. يكون سبب الضعف في الحديث المعلل إيش؟ خفي. خفي. يكون خفيا. All right? It isn't something which is obvious and plain. Sit down, Ibn Habib. Sit down, Da'i. Nur al-Hilu says, Ibn Victor said. Nur Hilu, you report from Ibn Victor. Go ahead.
حدثنا ابن فكر
Who said that the tea is good tonight. Nur Hilu did not meet what? It's too many people in the chain of narration. He died in 1999. Nur Hilu wasn't born until 2001. The gaping holes in the chain of narration is not what? Illa. Everyone stood up. Everybody stand up. Mahad, he visited Ibn Victor in the Bronx, but Ibn Victor was suffering from the flu that day. He never went to the masjid. So we looked into their lives. Mahad traveled to New York City. He went to the Bronx to meet Ibn Victor. Ibn Victor was sick for 3 days. He never got out of the bed. So there's no way that Mahad did what? Heard from Ibn Victor. That's outward, obvious, or what? It's hidden. He's a student of knowledge. He's a teacher of hadith. He traveled to New York City. Ibn Victor is the biggest hadith guy in the Bronx. The chances of Mahad not going to the Bronx to meet him and sit with him, he has his daily class, are what? Slim. But we've proven, documented, something went wrong. He didn't hear from him directly. Hence, he used an. Or, even better, Mahad says, Haddathani ibn Victor. He said to me, Ibn Habib, he never said Haddathani. You stand up, Daniel, quickly. You stand next to Ibn Habib. Ibn Habib, everybody turn around, face me. No, you stand right next to him. Turn him, face me, face me. You guys are in the same tabaqah. Show him, Ibn Habib. You turn around. Come, you're in the same tabaqah. Dad, you turn around. So, Mahad, how many students do you have? Two. Ibn Habib said that you said what? I heard. Then you said that you said what? No. He said. Ibn Habib made a what? He made an error. You, Akhi, what's your name? Mu'taz. You stand up. Stand next to Daniel. How many students do you have now? 3 in the tabaqah. Ibn Habib, you're the only one who said, he said, Ibn Victor said to me. These 2 narrators only said what? No, he never said that I heard. That would be lying too. He said, i.e., this is not an example of what? Hadith? Shad, exactly. It's 1 versus 2, and the shuduz is you saying that he said, I heard. I never said I heard Ibn Victor. I said Ibn Victor said. Clear. So we won't know that you made a mistake until we take their what? Their narrations. Whether they go back to Delhi or whether they have other students and Nur Hill collected them or not. Everyone understand this? So it's a mistake, it's an error, which is only hidden. No, it's not slight. It bothers the hadith, but it appears to be void of it. Da'i, Ibn Habib, Mahad Ibn Victor, Sahih, khalas. Thiqat, they all met each other, that's so and so. Somewhere down the line, there's a what? There's a glitch. So that glitch could be something which is hidden, it could be shudud, it could be so on and so forth. And obviously, if he didn't hear from Ibn Victor, then that's also munqati'. But the only way that we knew that it was munqati' was because of your shudud. 3 students, 2 of them said one thing, you said another thing, and you made an error. Everybody clear on this? This is in what? In brief. Or, you guys can sit down, you two. The example of Mahad reporting from Ibn Victor that Muhammad ibn Munir said, my favorite drink is cherry Coke or Pepsi. So, Nur Hill, you reported that hadith in your book. And Talib, you go to him now. You want ijazah from him. Give me your narrations. Give me your hadiths that you got. Tell him. Mahad Ibn Victor Qala Ibn Munir, etc. Talib, how long you been around me? 8
years.
How long, when you ever seen me drink Pepsi? Not saying that I wouldn't or I can or something. Have you ever seen me drink it?
No.
Anytime traveling, masjid, hot, summer, spring. You ever see me drink Pepsi? Stressed out, headache, sick. You ever see me drink Pepsi or promote Pepsi or talk about Pepsi? So because he knows me so much, he knows that the metin, that kalam that is attributed to me is what? Fishy, to say the least. Let alone if I've been around a man for 8 years, I can decisively say he never said that. Impossible. Mustahil. No way he said that his favorite drink is Pepsi. No, trust me, the trustworthy, no way. I know him too well. I spent the night over his house too many times. We traveled too many times. I never seen a man say, yo, go to the store and give me a Pepsi. Not once. So the illah could be in the chain, and of course it can be in the metin. And that narration, even though it came from trustworthy narrators, is spurious, is false, is mawdu'. Not an intentional lie, but somebody made a great error, and there's no way that that can be sound. Everybody understand this? The scholars of Islam, they only achieve this by studying the authentic hadith of the Prophet, knowing the Prophet's life in detail. Somebody comes along and says, the Prophet said this. The Prophet said mistreat women. What? Prophet's whole legacy was about, this, that, honoring women. وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. What are you talking about? إِسْتَوْصُوا بِالنِّسَاءِ خَيْرًا. This hadith can't be sound. There's no way. Somebody somehow, some way, made an awful error, or it's a narrator that's missing somehow, Allahu Alam. And that narrator, Ibn Habib, is from your stepson, or your son, Ahmed. You come. You and your son, Ahmed, unfortunately, you stand next to your father. After you guys don't get along too well. He doesn't like you, you don't like him. Very common dynamic. You, Mahad, don't have a strong memory. Your reliability only comes from writing down. So he wrote down a narration that my favorite drink is tea. Give me your book. Give me your book. He wrote down, Muhammad from Ibn Victor, my favorite drink is tea. Sound narration, right? Now, you went to sleep. You fell asleep. You started snoring. You woke up. Your evil son did what? Crept in your study, forged your handwriting, put it in your book. You woke up, Bismillah. Naam, Ibn Victor told me da-da-da. And you passed it on to Ibn Habib. So it wasn't your fault initially. You didn't lie, you didn't fabricate, but you are responsible for heedlessness. And if you don't have a strong memory, you're supposed to preserve your book. You're supposed to sleep with it. Right? And this is a real life example. This happened in the past. كَانَ لَهُ وَرَّقْسُ. So, كَانَ لَهُ وَرَّقْسُ. He had an evil scribe, and he would rely upon him and write in his book. He heedlessly passed it on. His favorite drink is Pepsi. How do we know that Ahmed forged your handwriting? Until we did what? Made a thorough what? Thorough sweep of everything, and we've discovered that Mahad doesn't have the sharpest memory. He's an excellent student when it comes to taking notes. But if he has to report from his memory, he's untrustworthy. Somehow, some way, somebody had to forge and make up this fabrication, make up this false, bogus narration. So we search, so on and so forth. Everybody clear on this or not? So this is an example of how a hadith becomes mu'allal or ma'lul. Is a hidden defect in the chain of narration and or the metin. Clear? All right, tayyib. Jazakumullahu khairan. All right, you guys can take a seat for a second. Don't go far though. I'm going to need you soon. All right, Fadl Abdurrahman. وَذُو اخْتِلَافٍ
وذو اختلاف سند أو متن مضطرب عند أهيل الفن المضطرب.
Al-Hadith Al-Muttarib is the new one tonight. Illa done, Shadh done. New one is called Al-Hadith Al-Muttarib. Muttarib. Shaky. It's shaken. وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. When you travel, when your feet are moving in the land. Daraba. Alright? So Muttarib is derived from moving and shaking. It's hadith which is shaky. Now, before we go further and explain, I want you guys to stay with me now. Al-Hadith Al-Muttarib We're going to give you a test to see if you guys truly understand what the hadith muttarib is. All right? Listen carefully. For the Arabic readers, the author, may Allah have mercy upon him, he says, Al-muttaribu هو الحديث الذي يروى من قبل راو يعني واحد أو متعددين أكثر من على أوجه ألفاظ وروايات مختلفة. هذا قال وهذا أثبت وهذا نفى وهذا على أوجه مختلفة. قال إنه كان لابس أخضر، وجاء آخر قال كان لابس، وجاء ثالث قال لابس. لكن هؤلاء الحكاة هم على درجة إيش؟ مما يدل على أن الوهم والخطأ من؟ لا، من الشيخ. هو الذي إيش؟ اضطرب هو، فهم رواه عن الشيخ حسب ما سمعوا. بينما الشاذ يكون الاختلاف عن الشيخ، يكون أحد الطلبة أخطأ ووهم. أما المضطرب فالشيخ نفسه هو الواهم. مرة قال لبست أخضر، لا لبست أخضر، لا ما لبست أحمر، لبست. اضطرب هو، هم رواه عنه درجة سواء. واضح؟ طيب moving forward. قال على أوجه مختلفة متساوية القوة. انتبه، القوة إيش؟ متساوية. ليس لنا أن نرجح كالشاذ. رجحنا الرواية الثلاثة على رواية الواحد، عرفت؟ أما المضطرب فالأوجه متساوية في الحفظ والقوة، والشيخ نفسه هو سبب الوهم والخطأ هو. عرفتم؟ alright. قال لا يمكن الترجيح بينها ولا الجمع. أما الجمع لا إشكال. الترجيح هذا شاذ وهذا محفوظ، لا يمكن. ليس هناك أي مزية لهذا على هذا. وهذا الاختلاف مشعر بعدم ضبط من؟ يعني الشيخ نفسه. لا تلاب عن الشيخ، هو الواهم، هو عدم الضبط، لم يضبط حديثه، لم يحفظ حديثه. قال إذ يشترط في قبول الحديث كون الراوي ضابطا كما مر آنفا، وغالبا ما يكون الاضطراب في السند وقد يقع في المتن أيضا، ونمثل عليه إن شاء الله. We're going to explain all of this. قال اقرأ أمثلة. مضطرب السند، تفضل.
مضطرب السند كحديث أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه: إذا صلى أحدكم فليجعل تلقاء وجهه شيئا، فإن لم يجد فلينصب عصا، فإن لم يكن معه عصا فليخطط بين يديه خطا ثم لا يضره ما مر أمامه. هذا الحديث اختلف عليه راويه وهو إسماعيل بن أمية اختلافا كثيرا، فقيل عنه عن أبي عمر ابن محمد ابن حريث عن جده حريث عن أبي هريرة، وقيل عنه عن أبي عمر
وقيل. الشيخ نفسه اختل ضبطه، لم يحفظ ما سمع من شيخه هو، وإنما لم يثبت على قول أنا لبست الأخضر لا غير. عرفت؟ طيب قال إلى أكثر من 10. فضل. No, you good, Daddy. فضل. I'm listening. فضل اقرأ. ولذا حكم غير واحد.
من الحفاظ كالنووي وابن عبد الهادي وغيرهما من المتأخرين باضطراب سنده.
All right, so let's go back, inshallah. One last thing. Abdurrahman, ahsantum. Very good job. مضطرب المتن.
مضطرب المتن وما رواه الترمذي عن شريكه ابن ابي حمزه عن الشعيبي عن فاطمه
عن الشعبي.
عن فاطمه بنت قيس رضي الله عنها قالت سأل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سئل رسول الله
عليه الصلاة والسلام
عن الزكاة فقال إن في المال لحقا سوى الزكاة.
ورواه
ابن ماجه من هذا الوجه بلفظ ليس في المال حق سوى الزكاة.
الحديث الأول أثبت أن في المال إيش؟
حق
غير الزكاة. والحديث الثاني
ليس في المال حق سوى
في تعارض ولا لا؟ في تعارض. إذا أمكن الجمع جمعنا بين الروايتين، وإذا ما أمكن الجمع دل على وهم. هناك من وهم لم يحفظ جيدا. قال
الحافظ العراقي فهذا اضطراب لا يحتمل التأويل.
All right, طيب. So, inshallah, who do I have? Ibn Victor, Mahad, here's your book. Nur Hilu, Da'i. Fadal, Jazakallah khairan. All right. How many narrators between me and the compiler? 3 narrators. How many? 3. Ibn Habib, let's make 4. The more the merrier. All right. Now, with these narrators, Ibn Habib, Da'i. Everybody turn around, face me. Daniel, Mu'taz, Talib, Ahmed. You're all students of Mahad. Classmates with Da'i. And one what? Tabaqa. So you guys, hey, well, regulate Ibn Habib. All right, perfect. Okay, Ibn Victor is whose student? My student, Tilmidi. Tilmidi who, man? Who's his student? Mahad. Mahad's students are who? Da'i, Ahmed, Talib, Mu'taz, Daniel. Clear or not? Everybody on the same page? Then afterwards, Fard. Ibn Habib, Nur Hilu has nothing to do with anything. He's the compiler. Clear or not? So, Ibn Victor narrates from me, and he narrates to his student Mahad, who says, Muhammad ibn Munir's favorite drink is Pepsi. That's the narration that you reported, Da'i. Ahmed, you reported from your teacher Mahad, Muhammad ibn Munir's favorite drink is Dr. Pepper. Talib reported his favorite drink is water. Mu'taz reported he doesn't have a favorite drink. Daniel reported from his teacher Mahad, from Ibn Victor, that I don't drink that much. I just drink just a little bit. I don't really have a favorite drink at all. I'm not a big beverage guy. Clear or not? Da'i, Ahmed, Talib, Mu'taz, Daniel are all what? Trustworthy, reliable narrators. They all study with Mahad extensively. They're all from your city, they're from your town, they're from your village. They know you, they've studied with you extensively at length. All of them are trustworthy. And all of them reported different what? There is no one who's better than the next. Rather, he only accepted you 5 students all at the same time. And you're all trustworthy, equal, same, equally matched. Proving that the lack of reliability, the lack of stability, the lack of precision came from who? Mahad himself. He, talaba. Pepsi. Dr. Pepper. I don't know. I can't remember. Now, you, Akhi, come. Tell us your name. Abdul Shakur. You're going to stay in the same tabaqa. Quickly. This is another student that you have. You're going to narrate directly. Matter of fact, perfect. 1 second, Abdul Shakur. Let me make sure that it's clear. All right, so before we get to Abdul Shakur, these 5 students here All reported conflicting narrations from one teacher. We cannot pick and choose who's stronger or strongest, who studied with him longer. The only sound, logical explanation is that the teacher himself, he's all over the place. He's going through a midlife crisis. He's becoming senile. He's stressed out. He did not properly remember what his teacher said, and that was what? Ibn Victor. Now, Ibn Habib, I want you to make this hadith shab. Quickly. Make it shab. Quickly, though. Quickly.
Favorite beverage is milk.
No. Make it shab, all I mean. Quickly. Faisal, make it hadith shab. يا عبد الرحمن اجعله شاذا مثل الحديث الشاذ.
أنا ما سمعتش.
Wahid. How does this hadith become shadh? Da'i.
Let's say they all narrate the same wording and
You said something.
Simple. Abdul Shakur is the top student of Mahad. He studied with him for 10 years. He's the smartest. He's the teacher's pet. Every day he brings him an apple. He comes early, he leaves late. He is the best student. You other guys are second class at best. At best, second class, Montez. You understand? He's the best. All of you guys reported Pepsi. He reported tea. Would that be shadh or not?
Yes.
How many? We have 5 versus 1. Really? Or the opposite. Abdul Shakur said my favorite drink is Pepsi, and the rest of the students said it was what? Tea. Abdul Shakur thiqa or not? He's thiqa. And then khalif al-jama'ah. And it's also illa as well. Proving that the mistake isn't from Mahad, because we had the ability to pick one narration over the other. Muttarib is when we cannot differentiate between the levels of the students. So the one who made the error is the actual sheikh. For him now? Everybody, for him now? The difference and the parallel between hadith, shadh, and muttarib. Shadh, the error is from one of the students. Muttarib, the error is from the teacher. Shadh, we have the ability to say this is the correct version and the other one is incorrect. It's not just weak. The sheikh never even said it. My favorite drink, Ibn Victor saying that my favorite drink is Pepsi only exists in his what? In Abdul Shakur's head. He never, Mahad never said that. Ibn Victor never said it, and Ashur never said it. Everyone understand this? But the Muttarib, the sheikh himself actually said it. He told you one thing, then he what? Told you another thing, then what? So on and so forth. فهمنا هذا? And obviously مضطرب نوع من أنواع الحديث إيش؟ المعلل. لماذا؟ لأنه خفي أولا لا يظهر. All right. Abdul Shakur, Ijlis, Daniel, Mortez, Talib, Ahmed, sit down now. Yalla. Pay attention. Noor Hill reports from his teacher Matthew bin Habib, from Da'i, from Mahad, from Ibn Victor, from Ibn Munir. My favorite beverage is Pepsi. All of the narrators are what? What does the hadith seem to be? Sound. We would only know that Mahad ittaraba after we did, stand up, quick, 1, 2, we compared the other what? And then it became clear to us, اتضح أن فيه وهما وخطأ. واضح عبد الرحمن? Everybody clear or not? So muttarib is also a part of illa. واضح? It's a hidden defect that only becomes clear after the investigation. And look who corroborated, who didn't, so on and so forth. واضح? And obviously if a hadith is muttarib, then it's going to be weak. Why is it weak, Wahid? Because it's missing one of the what? Conditions of a sound hadith, which is dabt, hifd. He did not memorize it correctly. All that. So the hadith muttarib is a weak hadith, and it is extremely weak hadith. And if it's proven that he's muttarib, it cannot strengthen another narration, nor can another narration strengthen his. Because Ibn Victor never said that. That's a fantasy in his head. Ibn Victor never told him that. Clear? All right, you guys can sit down. طيب. He mentions an example here, not of the narrators, but two different conflicting hadiths. One hadith says, إن في المال لحقا سوى الزكاة. Waheed, there's money that you have to pay besides zakah. And another hadith states, ليس في المال حق سوى الزكاة. Nothing is due besides zakah. Some scholars may say we can harmonize between the two. There is a haqq besides zakah, meaning when someone is in need. Meaning the nafaqah upon your wife. Meaning if someone comes and asks for money. And the second hadith, there is no haqq in one's wealth besides zakat, meaning the actual pillar of Islam. And another scholar may say, no, there's no way we can harmonize between these two narrations. He clearly erred. The Prophet never said that, Anas never said that, so on and so forth. All that? Everybody clear on this? All right, tell you, inshallah. How much time we got left?
30 seconds.
30 seconds, Allah Akbar. Buzzer beater. You can make it, you can win a game or lose the game in 30 seconds. Tell her, huh?
That's a lot of time.
All right, tell you. Khair, inshallah. We'll stop here. Next week, Talib, we will do, by Allah's permission, mudraj. Inshallah ta'ala. Hopefully everything is clear. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Wa sallallahu sallam wa baraka ala abdihi wa rasulih nabiyina Muhammad. Thank you very much for your participation. Shukran lakum li husni musharakatikum wa istima'ikum wa sa'atikum. Jazakumullahu khairan. Yes, brother. Sweets, ikram, or ithar? Which one? No, it's not my job. This is you. You got some sweets for the brothers, huh? MashaAllah. Pop cake. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله.
حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله. تفضل. طالب. Get into the brother. طالب. Are there any questions before we stop for the salah? Are there any questions pertaining to the class before we stop for the salah? Mu'taz.
I didn't fully understand when you said that there was a teacher and there's like 4 students. One of them is like a better teacher, he's been there longer, or whatever.
Better student.
A better student, sorry. He's been there longer. And there's a disagreement where the other three outnumber and they all agree, and the other one he doesn't agree. Which one do you trust? Do you trust the three or do you
And in theory, you go with the larger number. But quantity and quality isn't always consistent. A slice of wheat bread or whole grain bread may take on 3 slices of Wonder Bread. What's strongest? And you have to go back to the previous classes, inshallah. But in general, we take the larger number. Okay? Wallahu alam. Anybody else? Da'i?
Yeah, the Mahad had like 6 students. 3 said one thing, and the other 3 said another thing. Like, do we say that to the teacher?
Once again, if we can harmonize between the two, najma, jama'na. The first step is always harmonizing. After harmonizing, tarjih. We cannot harmonize. One has to be correct and the others have to be discarded. So for argument's sake, 3 versus 3, one may say that can't be what? Can't be harmonized. They're equally matched. وهكذا. Clear? Wallahu alam. Anybody else? Ibn Habib?
The Mutarib is the teacher made a mistake, right?
Yes.
Students, we cannot discern which one is right over the other.
No one has a stronger or bigger right over the other student.
And they're all trustworthy.
Yes.
But that hadith that shows that those narrations are da'if.
We can't take none of them because they were all said wrong from the what? From the sheikh. Clear? And of course, there are reasons behind ittirab. It could be old age. It could be stress. Some narrators fell off camels, fell off horses. Some narrators had their libraries taken from them, burnt. Some narrators, mathalan, they were weak when they traveled. They didn't have their library with them. They didn't have their books with them. For one reason or another, some narrators were weak when they narrated from certain countries or when certain countries narrated from them. Wallahu alam. Tayyib, fadal.
So even like, so let's say one of those, they are, yani the teacher shaky. So even if there's a different chain that is reliable completely.
That's different.
From that
A
chain.
separate chain is a separate hadith.
So but you said it doesn't strengthen that one. Because
No,
the teacher himself
no. And in sciences of hadith, a mistake can never be strengthened or strengthened. The only thing that can be strengthened, hadith, for argument's sake, hasan li ghayrihi, is a hadith in which it isn't clear that the narrator erred. Mahad is just has weak memory. That's it. He's not the strongest. But the hadith that's clear that is a fantasy that doesn't exist in real what? My favorite drink is Pepsi was never ever stated. That's his mental makeup. The wings and the legs is in his head. A lie can never strengthen or support another lie. But we aren't sure if it happened or not. Then a second narrator, a third, that's a different what? It's a different story. We're not sure of an error. Once we're sure of an error, that hadith is now what? Useless. And obviously for those who study the differences of opinion, the ulama, Sheikh Al-Albani said this, they said that, no, this is why. And the correct view is that قال Imam Ahmad rahimahullah إن أحاديث الضعفاء قد يحتاج إليها قد يحتاج إليها أحيانا والمنكر أبدا منكر. Right? A mistake is always a mistake and it is of no use in the real world. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.
I want to ask, if you have a hadith, a specific hadith that's muqtarib because of like a teacher, and that same teacher is present in other hadith narrations, how does that
No, just because he erred here doesn't mean he erred there, unless it's something that's consistent. Whenever the people of Mecca narrate from this narrator who came from Iraq, it's automatically weak. Versus, that's not the case, but in this particular hadith, he happened to make a mistake. Every hadith has its own taste. Wallahu alam. Khair inshallah. Go ahead, Akhi. Tell us your name, please. Abdullah. Nice to meet you.
In the one instance where Mahad had a bad memory, so he wrote down.
Mahad does have a bad memory, and he's an innovator. and the mudallis. All of those things we've established classes ago, unfortunately. Keep going.
So was that mutarib where he wrote it down in the book and somebody?
No, it's not mutarib. He actually heard something correctly, but he didn't preserve his notes. The notes that you have, you're going to go home, you're going to retranscribe them. You're going to type them up. You're going to put them in your cloud. You're going to preserve them because you may say my memory isn't that strong. So I'm going to make sure that I what? Take care of what I wrote down versus you sloppily leave the notebook on the kitchen table. Somebody spills grease. I don't know whether he said ihtajara wala ihtajama because grease spilt on it. Someone who's untrustworthy plays around with your notes, hacks into your laptop. You didn't lock it, you didn't put a passcode, and it became weak. And obviously that's an example of fabrication and also maqlub as well. Someone played around with your notes that you didn't preserve, you didn't look after. And it's a very important real life lesson. You don't have to have a strong memory, but you are responsible for being reliable. And that's a life principle. You have an anger problem, it may not be your fault, you're born that way, but you're responsible for working on your anger. You're responsible for staying away from situations that will cause you to get into a fight. You are responsible for that. You understand? So heedlessness, you're responsible for. The gazelle, the impala, can't compare to the lion and the cheetah. But they always what? They pay attention, they listen, they don't sleep. The moment you sleep, they got you. So it's your fault that you didn't watch the thing creep up. That is your error. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Jazakumullah khairan. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.